John, thank you for coming. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I know you're a busy man, so thank you for taking time out of your day to come here.
Of course, my friend. Thank you so much for having me.
So it's funny enough, this podcast is so new, barely out. Like I was telling you, I've had so many people request for you to be here because I've had like everyone come on, and then when they're about to leave, they're like, "Well, you gotta have John on here." So it's like, yes, but we're saving him. So it's the second last episode of the season, and like, first of all, why? How do you think you have this cult following in the Orlando filmmaker database? I guess I don't know. What do you think?
Feel like I'm very transparent, and I like business, and I feel like this industry lacks about that. Lacks about talking about being transparent, being in business, how to make your business profitable. It's very important that no one talks about.
Exactly. And what's crazy is we met at the first. So David, you're right, a friend had started Filmmaker Meetup, and we met literally at the first Filmmaker Meetup ever. And I had no idea what that was going to spawn into. And years later, now here we are. I want to know, obviously, let's go back then, right? Yeah. Where was your business then? What type of revenue were you doing? Did you have any employees or contractors? Tell me more if you remember. I think it was like 2023, 2 years ago, I think?
2 years ago.
Yeah. 2.5 years ago, roughly.
It's kind of the same as of right now. Team-wise, we have scaled right now. We have expanded to Texas, new market for JRP. So going back a little bit, I co-own two businesses with Brian, my business partner. So one is JRP and the other one is Big Wave Productions. Okay. JRP focuses more on architectural photography, videography, 3D tours, Matterport tours, all that.
So everything to do with real estate, essentially, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. And Big Wave is mostly commercials, advertising, conferences and all that.
So back when I met you, so about 2.5 years ago, did you have both of them, or you were only doing? So you still had both?
We still have both.
Yep. Okay, and at that time, what type of revenue were you pulling in?
We were making around, let's say, we have been from the start. We have been pulling six figures throughout. When I started by myself, of course, I was hitting close to 5 figures, but when Brian came in as a 50% partner, we scaled the business and started pulling in figures.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Now I want to know, 2 years later, how much have you scaled? Are you pulling like higher 6 figures? Have you reached 7 figures? Where are you at right now?
We haven't hit 6 figures. We're very close. This year might be the year that we hit.
You mean 7 figures, right?
7 figures.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because I was like, you're already 6 figures. I know that. So are you what, high 6 figures right now?
High 6 figures.
High 6 figures. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, that's incredible, especially with real estate. I don't know if people know. I'm hoping, because our audience is filmmakers. But real estate is one of the lowest money-making markets. Like, where you make the lowest money for the most amount of work. And you and your business partner have figured out a way to scale that business and make it profitable, which is an incredible feat, in a market like that's saturated, that's low paying, plus you're doing high quality work and somehow making that work. How did you manage that? I want to know the beginning of it, I guess. How did you figure this formula out?
Yeah. So when I started, it was just myself charging $75 a shoot. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
75 for shooting, delivering, everything, pre-planning. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And now we are charging up to, a real estate shoot, architectural shoot, it can be up to $5,000, $7,000, $14,000 shoot.
Which is crazy to think about. And remember, for commercial, okay, but like for real estate, to be able to pull that numbers is very, you're in the high end of that market.
Correct.
But Orlando has properties that can match that, right? Yeah. So
properties and agents and businesses that need that type of quality. We have encountered the low tier end of real estate agents that might not have the budget to hire us, but there's the other side of it that they see the value of the investment, right? So they tend to go towards us because we do like to target those people and tailor our business and our vision to what they want.
Yeah. And to be real, in real estate, any successful agent knows that's how you're selling a property. Most people aren't just showing up. They're going through pictures. They're going through the Matterport tours. That's somebody who bought a home, 2.5 months ago. Basically, that is what you do. You browse and then you pick your favorites and then you go see them in real life, right? And with your agent, but you're not gonna go if the photos don't make the great impression, and if the tour, then you do the 3D tour. You can't imagine living there. And the best one is video. And one of the reasons I gravitated towards this house, this was one of the few that had a video. And as soon as there was a video, I was like, oh, now I can, because to me that's the biggest, most powerful one of them. And then that made me want to, I definitely have to go see it, right?
You appreciated that.
Yeah,
asset.
exactly. Yeah, because it makes you be able to see the space even better, right? It makes you be able to picture, everything in it. So what's your, you would say, a share of ratio of like video to Matterport to photos of what you're doing?
It's kind of crazy. We have, let's say 2023, we were hitting mostly photos. Now it's video with Reels, TikTok being in place, Reels being in place. Our content, it's 70% video, 30% photos right now, which is, for me, it's crazy.
Yeah, to think about that. Yeah, because like you said, it was mostly photos, but agents have woken up. They're realizing that videos where the play is, because now you can add emotion, you can add music, you can create the environment that makes people want to live there, right? Because that's who they're targeting, right?
Right, and not only that, video. One key thing that we have on our business and the mentality of being in the business of real estate is that the assets that we provide not only helps sell the house faster, but helps the brand of the agent, right? Sells their personal brand, their business. They want to represent like they want to show up on camera and the video, right? On the final edit. We target those people that appreciate the assets and the investment. The other tier end don't see that value. That why we just grew out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's smart. Because like you said, at the end of the day, those, they can pay more because they're selling more. And, these other agents just need to learn that. And until they're there, you just have to cater to the market that's good for business. Because $75 for shoot, I can't imagine. Yeah, it's very hard. So tell me this, because it must have taken some kind of something in you to want to do that. So what was so passionate that you were like, I don't care if it's 75, I just want to do it? What year was this, by the way, when you were doing this?
2018, 2019.
Okay. Yeah. So you're charging $75 for a shoot, right? Like most real estate, by the way, this isn't unique. I've met people who are like very, very low budget. It's like, it makes no sense, but that's what they're doing, right? The market is what it is.
What it is, yeah.
So what made you, because there's some kind of push in you, what made you want to be still okay with that rate?
So, one agent, client of ours, she was fantastic. She was working as a real estate agent and knew someone in the marketing team of one of the biggest builders in the US, nationwide, internationally. And she's like, you guys might be interested in working with this builder, And she went into the office, referred us. We totally shot for free for that client because we knew the potential. I knew the potential. Brian wasn't part of the equation now. And he's a really great piece of an important piece of my development in the business. And she's like, hey, let's do photos for them for free, And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And I shot it, edited everything for free. And then the marketing director saw it and he's like, okay, well, perfect. Let's keep you rolling. And I was shooting, 2 to 3 properties a week. Now I'm shooting 10 a day.
Wow.
15 a day.
So it did help you doing it for free, because you all of a sudden went from 2 to 3 to 10, 15 a day. Then you can scale up. So even though the price is low, you can make it up on the back end because you're doing way more, right? Yeah, okay.
And then one key thing is that Brian came in, and Brian is a veteran on the industry.
So how did you meet him?
So I worked for him. Crazy part, I was, when I graduated Full Sail, I graduated from Full Sail Film. And I promised myself that I will find something as fast as possible. So I started emailing people, studios, every single day for a year. Boom, 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 back and forth. No one. I got some gigs here and there. And my email was, hey, I'm an intern, just graduated from Full Sail. I'm looking for opportunities. Do you have something? Please let me know. Here's a link to my portfolio.
And the sad part is, I'll tell you this, I get a ton of those because Full Sail, a lot of those emails, and then most they go unread, or I try to be nice and I respond, hey, send me some links, maybe your rates. I'll try and put you on a list. If somebody calls out, I can call you. But the truth is, and this is just for people who are doing that, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. Maybe you'll get lucky. You're better off going in person, because here's the thing. I don't mind bringing people for free.
Right.
I just need to know who you are.
Right.
And an email is just the most terrible way to know who you are, right? And that's why those get ignored, because I'm just like, I don't know your feel, your tone. How are you going to go with my client? Because last thing I want to do is I bring you in a shoot. Let's say I'm charging the client $15,000 for that commercial.
Right.
And you come in for free, but you say something silly, or even if the silliest thing you'd say, not you, but I'm just saying when somebody's new, they could go, I don't know how to set this light up. The client goes, oh, I'm paying this much for amateurs, even though it's okay for you not to know.
Right.
But if the client hears, the perception changes, it hurts the business. So I need to be able to vet the people, because then I know, okay, hey, you're not going to say something silly. And if you do need to question, because it's okay to ask questions and learn, but do it on the, the mic so nobody hears. It's a whole perception. And these conversations need to be had in person, not over email. So I highly recommend, if you're going to reach out by email, then just ask for coffee.
Right.
Just say, hey, let's meet. I would love to just pick your brain for a little bit. And most people will say yes, versus, hire me, because then it's like, here's my portfolio. It doesn't matter what your portfolio is.
Right.
I don't know the person. So I think that's far more important. Anyway, tangent, but I want to tell people how to get out of that rut.
Key point. Yeah. I like
just
that.
meet for coffee, get them to know you as a person. Because trust me, anyone will teach you. So many people on those podcasts will happily bring anyone new and teach them. What they won't do is just bring a stranger on set. So just don't be a stranger. Go meet people. Anyway, so yes, so you had that experience, which I hope I wasn't one of the ones, but I apologize if I was, because that happens. That happens daily. It's so crazy how often that happens. But yes, so you tried, obviously couldn't find something.
I tried, couldn't find something, and then Brian replied back, hey.
Which is awesome. So you never know.
Great. He's like, hey, perfect. Let's meet up at this spot. Dress accordingly to the occasion. And you know what? My first gig was for Rolex 24 Daytona. For the interior designer. Yeah, it was great. Wow. And I'm like, oh my god, this is what I love to do. This is great. This is an amazing opportunity. So fast forward, COVID hit 2020. Yeah. Brian's business was mostly into commercials and advertising and conferences, which
dried up. Pretty much.
So my business at the time, I was working for that builder, pulling my hair out because I didn't have a team. I was working for myself. I'm
doing
like
10, 15 shoots is crazy. Yeah,
I was pulling 12 hours days shooting, plus then all night editing, then QCing and delivering, which is just crazy. I was getting burned out. The client was getting super annoyed of not hitting delivery times. In real estate, it's a fast turnaround. It's 24 hours turnaround. So you have to shoot and deliver in 24 hours.
That's what they expect, because they want to put the listing out. Yeah.
Right. So he came in. Well, I'm like, hey, Brian, I'm sorry, but I need so much help right now. He's like, oh my God, yes, perfect. This works great. I'm not doing anything. Let's do that. And, he came in as a producer and helped me, randomly client and tap in some ideas. And he's like, hey, helping me edit, helping me just manage things, helping me book stuff on the calendar. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, this is working. I'm having a team player right here. So this is great.
But that's incredible to think about. Hold on a minute. You started, right? You reached out to somebody who responded out of sea of emails, and he hired you. He brought you on, right? He's more experienced, and now because of COVID, tide have turned. Now he's coming in to partner with you because his work dried up. So you never know people that hire you could end up working with you.
Right.
So now he's like, oh, my work dried up. Let's partner together. But because he's so experienced, he can come in and kind of find efficiencies, I'm guessing, in the process.
Right. He is a veteran on producing, scaling the business, the business developing. So he was a key essential part to, JRP, not only scaling, but, making profit, making numbers. Because if you're pulling $75 a shoot with editors in place and paying myself, you're like pulling $1 profits. So.
Exactly, which is like nothing in Orlando. Good luck. So essentially he came in, so you were the talent at that time.
Right.
He's now the business brains.
Right.
So what do you guys do to scale it or to make it better, I guess?
Right. So this client really helped us visualize the future of this business. So it's like, okay, well, we have to target home builders, interior designers, architects that have bulk of business, have 15, 20 shoots at that time. And we're like, okay, well, we can pull in a contractor right here. All of our shooters are contractors. None of them are employees. The only two employees on our two entities are Brian and I, and that's it. We only
what? So I do the same thing, the contractor formula. Even though I have people who get a lot of work from us, but it worked for me, which is so funny. When I started the company, I wanted to replicate. They had full-time employees, so I'm so glad I didn't. This is the better format. But what made you go with this format where you bring in contractors versus employees?
We were running out of money so fast with employees. We tried with one of our first contractors. We put it on a W-2 basis. We said, no, we can't. Yeah. It's so much.
Because you have to have then the overhead and all that, right?
Right. Yeah. And you have to have
payroll,
the recurrent revenue, right?
Yeah, so exactly.
We're like, maybe the contractor rates will work. And we're targeting contractors that not only specify in real estate, but they mostly do weddings on the weekends. So they have the weekdays pretty much open, and that's where we come in, right?
Look at that.
We don't shoot for the weekends.
That's pretty smart. So you basically went out and you said, hey, here's wedding videographers who are free during the weekdays. Come do real estate for us. Be contractors. That's smart. So what are you paying them on average a shoot?
So it can vary depending on the season. We have slow season and high season. Our shooters can make, from $2,500 a month to up to $10,000 a month.
That's pretty good for a contractor.
Right.
And then how were you able to up your rate? Did you go back to that same builder and say, I want to go from 75 to, 150, 200, whatever you upped your rate to?
Right.
How did you manage that conversation, or did you just have to find a whole new client to up the rate?
Not really. With Brian, he's like, okay, John, you have to see the business through what we're working for. This is a builder that's pulling billions of dollars and probably doing a six-figure, budget a year for marketing. Yeah. So you have to think about how much we're going to charge them, how much we're going to pay our contractor, our editors, our backend team, QC team, and then we have to figure out a number that we can pull to the client, right? So we find out that packaging our pricing with photo, video, Matterport work great for profits and for the client, right? So we came in for the client with several pricing tiers and packages. And what ended up happening, they're like, okay, well, let's stick for every single home, let's stick with this package. And for bigger shoots, for motorhomes, for more involved shoots, let's go custom, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what happened.
So you were able to build packages and real estate is a very good market where you can do that. Right. So give us an example of your current packages, so people, and with some example pricing, so people can understand what clients are paying and what the deliverables are, like photos, video, whatever. So what do packages look like? Some examples.
So we have 3 packages, and we have something that's called price anchoring, right? So we have our high tier list that can cost up to $2,500.
Yeah,
and includes photos, video, Matterport tours, landing pages, marketing kits, and 2D floor plans, right? Then we have our middle tier that can cost you $1,250, right? That includes photo, video, a cinematic tour, and a floor plan, right? But you take out the Matterport tour, right? And then we have our lower tier that can cost you $950, and it only includes photo, video, and drone. That's it.
That's about it. No Matterport. No, or floor plan, but that's
Right.
smart. So you were able to tier up, but it makes it easy for the client to go this times this many properties. Very easy to for them to also get the services that they want, and they don't have to worry about any of the overhead. So that makes absolute sense. Now, how did you take a market that's used to cheap photographers and have them accept this rate or these tiers? Did you have to do anything on the business side, in your sales side, or what did you do? Or you just had to find those clients?
The most important thing is to treat a client as a partner, right? You are their marketing extension, not a single vendor, right? So whenever we can make that connection with that client, they just open up. They're like, hey guys, we have X amount of budget. Let's plan ahead, right? What we can do with this, right? So that way we find the right qualified clients, the right qualified people, and they become friends at the end of the time. At the end of the day, we are friends with every single client that we have. We have a close connection with with that person, because we want that, right?
Yeah.
Not only for the business, but as a relationship. We want to treat them as partners, not just another vendor.
No, absolutely. So you're partnering with them. You're offering them a very easy offer that they can accept. Plus, they have scalability, so they have a higher tier property. They can scale up to a higher, or even a custom price point. Then how does the pipeline matter? Like, do they reach out to you, or do you have a project manager? How does that, like, walk me through an example timeline? Right, they reach out to this person calls this person. This, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
we have a pretty simple system. Some people overly complicates this stuff, and the project managers are Brian and I.
Yeah, there you go. Because you are the relationship builders, right? Yeah.
So we want direct contact with the client. They want to speak directly to the owners, to the both of us, because we are their friends, their partners. They understand us, and we understand them, right? Yeah. So if we try to put someone in place to replace us, especially building this relationship for 3-4 years, something might crack, right? So we don't want that with our clients. We want direct contact with them. So whenever they have a project, they email their call, or like, hey guys, we have this project coming up. Can you quote me for it? And send a quote for that.
Perfect. So they reach out to you and they say, let's say you've obviously signed them up. So they've 2 new properties coming up, whatever. So they let you know, is it by email or how do they typically contact you? Email, I'm guessing, or phone?
So we have a platform that's partnered with us. It's called Tonemo. It's mostly a CRM for real estate photographers. There's other ones in there. There's HD Photo Hub. There's, Aereo, Spyro, whatever. So we were on HD Photo Hub with transition to Tonemo for their built-in CRM system that they have. They can either book themselves online.
Oh, perfect. So they have like an account.
Right.
So they can just go in and schedule it. Perfect.
Yep. Yeah. So it's pretty fully automated. So we don't, sometimes if they have a special project, bulk project, like, hey, we have 15 houses coming up. Of course, we want to target that online or over email, right?
Of course.
So when they have one-off shoots here and there, it's better for them to book themselves, see the real-time availability from all of our shooters and book it, right?
Okay. That's awesome. So they can just go in, they can enter it, they can even specify a specific shooter if they want to, if they like someone better, obviously, and they schedule it. Then what happens? Does the shooter get in? Because they have probably on the app platform too, right? So the shooter gets a thing, like you got to go shoot that or whatever?
So we have, all of our contractors have a JRP email, right? Gmail account attached to it. So my assistant, Gene, virtual assistant, and myself and Brian manage pretty much the entire dashboard of the bulk of the Google Calendar, right? So our contractors can mark themselves off if they want to work or not, right? Or if they have another shoots coming in the schedule, right? That schedule ties into our online booking platform where clients, and which is great, the client has a not dedicated photographer or videographer, but preferred vendor or photographer or videographer. So they can choose, or the system automatically chooses for them that partner. And they let them choose a time and date for the shoot. So
that's amazing.
When that shoot comes in, it pops into the Google schedule. It sends an email confirmation to the client, of course, to the shooter. It sends a text message to the shooter and to the client. and it automatically notifies our editors that there's a job posting in progress that it needs to be edited.
So that's perfect. So essentially, you've automated to the point the client, once you onboard them, has a platform access to your CRM software. They can go in, they can select everything. The system automatically alerts everyone, both the contracted shooter and the client. They meet up. And then goes. Plus, at the same time, the editors know, hey, this project is coming up in the pipeline. So this is perfect. So the shooter shows up. They do their thing. How long is typical real estate shoot? A couple hours at most? Or
so it varies. If we're doing photos only, it might take 30 minutes. If we're doing the whole package, it might take 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours. Okay, perfect. So let's assume they did photos and video, the typical stuff. And then they upload it back to the same platform? Or is there a different platform to send the footage back to editors?
So the platform is attached to Dropbox, which is fantastic. We pay for the business thing and we get, oh my God, unlimited storage pretty much. So all of our shooters have a Dropbox account attached to the JRP email. And they get an email where
I don't recommend Dropbox for like big files. I think it's good for real estate. I've had a terrible experience with Dropbox. But again, that's because I'm sending files that are 100 gigabytes, 200 gigabytes. It doesn't work for that.
For us, it's like 20 megabytes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's perfect for that. So so it integrates. So they just upload it.
It uploads it. Well, each shooter has their own dedicated folder that it's linked with our editors, our project managers. That's Gene, and our QC people. That's Michelle and Eduardo. Right. Perfect. So all of them are all tied together into one folder, and everything is pretty much notifications all the way. So we have Slack built in right into it, Gmail baked in. So we have.
So they get a Slack notification. Hey, footage was uploaded. Or photos were uploaded. So the editor is just on it. They start it. And then what's the delivery? Does that CRM platform handle delivery? So they just upload it back to the client. So it doesn't go to MLS. The client has to put it on MLS.
Correct.
Okay. So your team just gives the client the deliverables. And then the agent. Most likely is the client, right? So the agent will then do the whole MLS thing. Okay,
correct.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I want to talk more into now your employees or your contractors. So are there anyone in America besides you and Brian, or are they all internet? Well, shooters are, but I'm saying your editors and your virtual assistant and your QC people, are they all US based or are they foreign based?
Foreign based.
Look at that.
All of them.
And exactly why you're here. I want to talk because I have, by the way, if for somebody doesn't know, all my people are US based except for my animation team, which is based out of India. So it's okay. I'm all for taking advantage of skilled people, in a different country and getting them work. So 100%. I want to know is how you came up with that concept. What is this your idea, Brian's idea, and then how you went about recruiting them? Did you use a specific platform?
Yeah. So the funny story is when I was editing the photos, right, I got a message on Instagram from a Vietnamese editor, right? Hey, John, I can I can edit your photos for 80 cents. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, well, that means I can send my photos to edit for this price and I can have them ready in no time, in 12 hours, 8 hours.
And for real estate, it's not like you have a lot of photos. You have like 20 photos, right? And something like that.
Right.
So the cost wouldn't be that high. Yeah.
Right. So you're pulling $25, off of a shoot, $30 for the editor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does that mean I need I can alleviate myself from editing? And that changed the game, right? So I've gone through several editors because you have to test, right?
Yeah.
And there's either Facebook groups that have a ton of online editors that can work for you. It's become so popular now that you might get 30, 40, I get 40 DMs a day, 30 DMs a day from editors. Hey, can I work for you? Hey, can I work for you?
So you can then go vet because that's one of the hardest things I've found is, and I have US based editors, even then. Hardest thing for me is finding, and you met my leader, and then she has to handle all the other editors. It's a pain because finding somebody who can get your vision, who can do it right and do it fast is very difficult. You'd be amazed how many editors are not the right fit. So you have to go through a few, to get to the ones that work, and then you want to keep them. You don't want them to go.
No.
So you get now obviously a lot of DMs and a lot of people. So you're just going through their profiles, kind of vetting them. Maybe giving them a project or two to test out.
So each project that we give to a new editor, it's a test job and it's 3 photos. So I've developed this system where I know if on those 3 photos it's shown that you can prove to
Look at
yourself
that.
like
So they have like what, bad color or bad dynamic range?
in just 3 photos.
Okay.
I already know if it's a good or not good editor.
Wonder if we can leak the photos. No, that's very smart. So that's good. So you found 3 photos that you know very hard to edit.
Right.
You send that to them. You know if they edit them good,
Right.
they're good, and
They're
then they pass the GRP test. That's so good.
And then you know, we have stuck with one editor for 3 years now, which her team is amazing. And crazy part, they expanded because of us, because of our bulk of business. And we love that success for them, right? We know how important this stuff is for them. So we might get some photos and videos from their office. Like, hey, John, thank you so much for being a client. Look what you guys made for us. And
so great.
You can see them.
You're supporting them, and they're expanding because you're expanding.
Right.
So that's amazing. So you partner with this, and they already have their in-house editors, right?
They might have 30 editors in there.
Yeah. So that's incredible, and they know the level of quality you're expecting.
Correct.
So they do it, and then how does your QC team work? Are they based out of same country?
Right.
You said Vietnam was their first.
Yep.
So they're all, you like Vietnamese people, I guess. I love Vietnamese food. By the way, a lot of people, and I didn't know this. Until I discovered Vietnamese food. Apparently, there's a huge Vietnamese population in Orlando. We have literally a little Saigon in downtown Orlando.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
And we have incredible Vietnamese food here in Orlando and a huge Vietnamese population. And I had no idea.
Whoa.
For the first few years I lived here until I discovered it. So you got to go to little Saigon in downtown. But I love Vietnamese food. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how did you find your QC people? Same thing. And what are they checking for? What is the QC, quality control?
Right.
What are they essentially checking to make sure that, before they release, I guess, the content?
Yeah, so our QC team, we found them through Upwork, right?
Okay.
So we have either Upwork or Fiverr that, that provide those virtual assistants. We post a job in there and they just get into.
And do you still go through Upwork, or have you now moved them off Upwork since you work with them so much?
One of our key things is to move them out of Upwork, right? Because of the fees.
Yeah,
they take 15% off, 15% off of their cut and some fees from us. So it's like
both of you save basically by going, especially if it's a regular thing. I get it's a one-off thing. But if it's like a regular thing, move them up, bring them into your system. That's great. So what are they checking for? What's the QC that they're doing?
So Michelle is one of our QC teams, and she is mainly looking for inconsistency in color. Are the verticals or straightened? If there's reflections on the floors, if there's trash outside, if there are cracks on your driveway, stuff like that. You know? Some key things that make our quality better than the other. It's like that. It's just make sure that the little details are taken care of.
Exactly. How do you find a QC person? Because they have to be very detail oriented. But how do you test that? It was easy for the editor, because like you said, you have 3 photos. Do you have a method to test the QC people?
So same thing, 3 photos.
So you have photos already, hidden trash and reflection. Look at that. That's so smart.
3 photos, and as soon as we edit it,
Yeah.
We just wanted to see if she saw the details in there, right? The little small details. Of course, we gave her instructions because a lot of them don't follow instructions.
Yeah. So that's all you want. You're happy to obviously train them. Like, hey, here's what you should be looking out for.
And we do that. Yeah.
And she did, obviously, the person you ended up going with.
Right.
And so what's the process? Then they catch this and then send it back to the editor, I'm guessing, with notes like, hey, this is wrong or whatever.
So if it's a bigger mistake, like inconsistency in coloring between photo and photo, we send them back to the editor. If it's something that they can pull off on Photoshop real quick, they can do them themselves.
They can do it themselves.
But,
okay, take care of it.
We have our partner, our editing partner in Vietnam. She's amazing. She knows our quality. She knows what we're looking for. There's some months that from the bulk of business that we give her, some inconsistencies here and there, but that's fine. Stuff happens.
Exactly. We're human. Plus, like you said, she has a team, so you never know. There may be inconsistencies, which is why quality control is so important.
Right.
By the way, for my company, none of my videos ever go out. I don't care if I was not involved, because there's a lot of projects now where I'm not involved. I will not release a video to a client until I've seen it. So unfortunately, I don't have a team. I'm not as big as you. I am the QC, but for me, it's like my name is on the company, which I want to talk to you about the name of the company.
Yeah.
Silly. Again, I wish I'd picked a different name, but now it's like, it's Bindra Productions. I am the Bindra. Nothing leaves my...
You.
Yeah. Because I'm like, my name can't be on it until I'm saying yes.
Yep.
So how did you pick JRP? Because, that's your name, right? John Ruz Productions.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, so in my opinion, we should name companies after a name. But look,
my God,
I did it. You did it.
I did it. Yeah.
So was it just like me, like laziness, or what?
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, okay, well, let's call it myself. John Ruz Productions. Easy, right?
It's too late to change now,
Yeah,
right?
once
Once you scale and you're
Right.
like... I don't know if you've thought about it. I've thought about it many times. I'm like, oh, I should have picked a different name because I wanted to be bigger than me.
Right, for sure.
But it's like harder because now I'm like, oh, we're established. It's hard to change it, right? Have you thought of that too?
A lot. Yeah, a lot. And sometimes I'm thinking, what words should I change the JRP to? Like something, right?
Yeah.
I can change that. Like I can change something to that, right? But it's so hard.
Exactly.
It's
So
hard.
yeah, I don't know what you'd make out of
Right.
it. Maybe, hire, what do you call a focus group to come up with some, but you don't need to. That's what I'm saying. Same thing happened with me, even though I want to. It's just like at this point we're established. People don't care. People call me Bindra.
Right.
They just call me by my last name because that's the name of the company. And so at this point I'm like, whatever. Even though I wish I had picked something different where it wasn't my name, but it's too late.
Right.
So so you're one of the other people that's going through that. So, but hey, you found success. I love the process. It's fully automated. With contracted U.S. shooters, you're giving them work.
Right.
Then you have contracted these the remote foreign workers that they're getting work. Everyone's happy.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're able to give your clients a better product at the end, which is what matters at the end to them, right?
And the biggest part is that we talk to them to the client. It's like, hey, what do you guys need? Like, and we are very transparent with our clients. Hey, we are implementing new QC procedures for your project to guarantee that you guys are getting the best quality in the next project. So
Look at that.
Just want to be transparent with them because again, you are an extension of their business. You are an extension of their marketing team, right? You want to help them. Right?
Exactly. So this is what my next thing I want to ask you was basically, how does this... Now, obviously, the process works. You figured it out. You got the right people, and you're doing the management side. But how do you... The biggest thing I think is customer service to a business. It's so crazy, but people don't realize how important customer service is because you don't know... Right, the client. Obviously, the process is good. You make sure the photos are good, but you don't know what the agent feels. Right. It's very important to know where they are at, feedback, and all that. So, how do you create that feedback loop? Do you do like a manual call in, check in, or do you do like a survey? How do you know the agents are happy with what they're getting and their needs are met or whatever? Tell me that, because to me, that's more important than the whole process that we've talked about so far. Even though, obviously, the product is the thing they're buying. But it's the experience, right? So how do you manage that?
Crazy part is that we did not implement that until last year.
Oh, wow.
Right? We just send the photos and peace out, right?
Exactly.
With our builder clients, bigger high-end VIP clients, we do have a
relationship,
feedback, So we ask them stuff. For our real estate agents, we didn't had a system, right? It's easy to send an email, but if you're doing 20, 30 shoots a day,
it gets hard to and you don't want to be spamming them either. Then they're like, I don't want these many emails. So what's the process that you implemented?
So our platform offers a follow-up email now automatically. So we just hit the...
What's this platform again?
It's called Tonimo.
Okay. I don't know this, but hey, people in the real estate. Okay, go ahead.
Tonimo.
So it has like a feedback loop built into it. Okay.
So it has a trigger built in. When you complete the actual project and send the completed project, it waits 2 days to send a follow-up. Like, hey, just wanted to check in. Were the photos up to par for our quality? If there's any changes, please let me know. We don't want them to attack them right away asking questions.
Exactly.
So 2 days is the perfect threshold that we found.
Exactly. That's awesome. And then what I want to know is, what's the take rate? Because not everyone responds, and usually when they respond is when there's a problem, not when they're happy. So what did you find? Do you have a percentage? Like how many? What's the response rate to those emails?
A lot, actually.
Really? It's high?
Pretty much all of them are like, hey, thank you so much. This looks fantastic.
That's really good because it's not the common thing. Typically, people don't respond.
No.
So that's pretty good. So you have a high, but again, your clients are agents, so it's different. But so they're responding, and then you do get positive. What's your ratio positive to negative? If you have numbers again, top of your head.
I just don't want to brag, but we do such a great job. My team does a great job.
And then it's okay to brag. Look, you came here from public demand. You must be doing something good. So no, it's okay to brag. So you're saying it's mostly positive.
Mostly positive.
And when you do get negative, what is it generally? Is it QC or what are they finding negative?
When we encounter negative, feedback, we love that. We really target we help them. We jump in right away. We stopped everything and just help that client figure out what happened, right? Yeah. We have messed up, of course. We have missed shoots. We have missed delivery. We have missed deadlines, of course. And, not because of technology, because of us as well. So we have to, take on that. Right. So we have to make sure the client knows that we are taking care of them. We're like, hey, we F up. Sorry. Yeah. We're going to fix it right away.
Exactly. So you're just basically, do you reach for a phone? Do you reach for text?
Phone.
You're calling them, right? Immediately. You're like, hey, I apologize. Let me fix the issue. And generally it's just that date timeline mixed up, or it just didn't get done in time or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that the typical thing?
I'm shy. I'm an introvert. I don't like speaking to people, right? And Brian has taught me to call them because I'm like, oh no, I messed up. Let me send you a text message real quick. No. Just call them. They want to hear you say, I'm so sorry. I'm going to fix it right now, right away.
No, I completely agree with you. I'm an introvert too. And that was a struggle. I didn't like, talking to people, right? I grew up a generation we text, but the crazy thing is the number one thing, you have to implement in your business is call. Like, it's so funny. I've changed. Again, I don't call for like hi, hello to my friends, but I'm like, client, no, I'm calling immediately because to me that conversation, that one-to-one, is so important that an email cannot, get the tone right. It's just, it's not possible.
It is not.
And it's not fixable. But like you said, it's very important to stop. Like, I'm like, if something goes wrong, especially if it's rare for me, I'm like, no, we stop. We literally call and we're like, what's wrong? Like, how did we fix it? It's funny, I've talked about this, like 2 incidents I can think of in the last 2 years that went wrong with me had nothing to do with us, even though they're blaming. So one, literally, and this is what I'm saying, I do a lot of productions. 2 was, I offered this client a free, we did a course for this client and she wanted, she had to choose between English and Spanish. She only had money to do one version. So me being kind, and obviously her market was more English speaking, even though her native is Spanish. We went with English version, but I was like, shouldn't do that. I was like, oh, I'll be nice and I'll give you a free dubbed version of Spanish until you can afford to get the Spanish version made.
Makes sense.
It didn't go through the translation. She said, okay, but you don't know language. And funny enough, again, I had Emmanuel with me in the meeting, so somebody who speaks Spanish. But point is, she said, I got it. I was like, remember, this is free and this is just dubbing. It's not an edited, nothing. We're just putting Spanish audio, your voice on it.
Right.
Until you're ready. So we delivered the English video, amazing, love it. And then the complaint I got was, the Spanish version is not edited. It doesn't match my lips. Obviously, it's dubbing. Obviously. If we're not gonna match the lips, but the client doesn't get it. And then so I was like, I'm trying to do customer service. Immediately I'm like, let me call you. I'm trying to explain to you. And even after I had the conversation, I was like, I don't think she gets it because I'm like, ma'am, it's dubbing. Your lips are not gonna match. Because it's a different language. It's even though you're saying the same thing when you translate. There's
it's different.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was my one, and then the other one was a client. We recorded a speech, went amazing, and his pocket. Remember the live speech? I'm saying with an audience, not where we can stop, not a studio speech. His pocket got inside out, and he was unhappy with my crew for that. I'm like, we were in the back of the room. You're speaking to 300 people. We're not gonna stop you in the middle of it, or that's not even our job anyway. But I'm saying, but then you still had to apologize. I was like, look, apologize next time when we film your speech. I will personally check your pocket and your wardrobe to make sure. I mean, ideally, I want a wardrobe person there if that's important.
Right, exactly.
But obviously clients don't get it. It's like, oh, no, we don't need a wardrobe. I say, okay, don't worry about it. I will check it. So, you have to do that. Even though it sounds silly, at the end of the day, I'm like, come on, I don't get complaints here. I don't want to ruin my reputation over a pocket being inside out. And funny enough, it went through 3 of their team members and nobody noticed it. Because it's a small thing.
Yep.
But the first moment a client mentioned it to them, the video's on. It's like, we can't share it anymore. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't. It's a live speech. Things are not. Anyway, you get my point. So I've had 2 complaints, like I said, in the last 2 years that I can think of.
Yeah.
And then both of them had nothing to do with me. Even then, I still had to call and apologize because at the end of the day, that's what you can do and that's what you need to do.
Right.
Because customer service is important.
It's the most important. It's the backbone.
Yeah. Even though you're like, I don't know how I can control a pocket, but I'm going to apologize and I'm going to say next time we'll look out for it, you know, because that's all you can do.
Right.
But it is the difference between being successful and not being successful, right?
Right. 100%. Yeah.
Exactly.
Customer service is one of our main things that we strive for on both businesses, on JRP and Big Wave, you know.
And like you said, the biggest thing is don't email, don't text. Hang up, call, talk to the client, because, there's nothing better than that, because you can immediately figure out what they're thinking, what they're going through. You can hear the emotions in the voice.
Right.
You can't get that through text or email. So that's incredible, but it sounds like you built an incredible real estate business.
Thank you.
Mostly automated. Obviously, nobody can replace you having to go find
Humans,
the leads and having to do customer service yourself or whatever.
Right.
There's obviously things you and your business partner are doing. Now, are you doing all the sales too, or do you have a sales team?
So Brian and I do the sales.
Okay, so you're basically bringing in the business. You're making sure everyone's happy.
Yep.
You've automated the middle process, the grunt work essentially.
Right.
But those people are happy too because they're getting paid more than they would either in their country or as a freelancer in America, right?
Yeah.
Because like we talked about, real estate industry doesn't pay well, and you're trying to offer people higher pay, so that's why they want to work with you.
Right.
And then the clients get a better product. Everyone wins. Kind of seems like at the end.
We have heard feedback from our contractors that we are one of the highest pay per project contractor rates for real estate that they have worked for. So that tells us something, right?
That's incredible. Now, here's what I want to know. What type of profit percentage are you aiming for? What are you getting? Let's be realistic. To 2024, like, are you aiming for like 80%, 60%, 40%, roughly? What are you at the end after all expenses paid, not counting taxes, obviously? But what is your profit that you're trying to pull?
It's pretty high. We don't have that much of overhead, right?
So but I mean, you still have people costs, right? Contractor costs.
Sure. Yeah.
So after you take out your remote, because things like that's your cost, right?
Right.
Your cost is contractors and remote employees. So you're able to put what, 80, 90%, or is it lower?
No, it's low. It's 70%,
which is pretty high.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm at 20%, so big up. So 70% is really good,
right?
And you're doing, seems like, financially really well.
Right.
And
thank you.
Something that went probably really good for you, your real estate market went crazy in Orlando, and it literally went skyward.
Skyrocket, yeah.
So I'm guessing when that was happening, you had plenty of work, I'm guessing.
Plenty.
Yeah, so it was more like catching up to the amount of work than...
Yeah, we are, since 2020, we have capped not lower 2,000 shoots a year for JRP.
That's crazy. Now, here's what I want to know. Real estate took a downturn this year, especially because, again, what goes up must come down.
Yep.
So how are you managing that? Did you have to cut hours, or like, because let's be real, the real estate market is down right now.
It's down, yeah.
So obviously it's not as down. It's still high compared to where we started.
Right.
But it's not where it was like peaking, like where people were willing to pay 30, 40, 50K above listing price.
Right.
Now, people can even ask for a discount. Like, hey, I bought a home at the end of last year, and like I said, I was able to ask for closing costs, which is you couldn't have thought of that ever. I was like, look, I'll pay your a decent price. I think I paid good price for the home, but I was like, I need more.
Right.
But you couldn't have done that in the past.
Right.
Not in Orlando, right? Yeah.
Not at all.
They wouldn't have even entertained your offer. And here I'm trying to negotiate with them. Even my real estate agent was like, even for this market, are you sure? No, I was like, no, I want it.
Let's do it.
I was like, no, let's send it. Because I was like, nah, I don't know if I want to pay that. Because, anyway, I know enough people like you in real estate. I'm like, I know where the market's at.
Right.
Anyway, which is crazy for Orlando.
Yeah.
But how did that affect your business? How did it hurt your business? And kind of like that.
We have been pretty smart on diversifying, and we don't throw all of our eggs in one basket. We don't just service real estate agents, we service builders, and builders keep building, right? They have so much inventory right now. And, in COVID, they got so much marketing budget, and they are spending it throughout the years now. And, for us, we have been busy because of builders, because of interior designers and, custom home builders, architects, and all that.
That's so smart.
Yeah. Real estate.
You gotta diversify. You're absolutely right. Here's the opposite of the advantage of it. Now that you say that, again, I'm not an expert like you are, but here's what I noticed. Because like you said, home down. But when I was buying, my agent was like, all these new homes, and showing me all these communities. Because here's what happened. When the demand went like this, all these builders started building new communities. And now that when they're ready, the market is down.
Right.
But that's an advantage for you because now they have inventory they need to sell. They need to make photos, videos, obviously, to sell this inventory. So we have actually high demand. And like I said, I would have loved to buy one of these new homes, but they all come with HOAs and what are they called? CDDs.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I don't want to pay that. So, I got intrigued.
Yeah.
There was some really nice homes up down in Claremont. I was amazed how many people, by the way, live in Claremont. Half the people on my podcast so far have been from Claremont. But really beautiful homes. And I was like, oh, they look really nice. But then, you go, how far is it from the airport? And I'm flying so much. And then on top of that, I was like, I don't want to pay this HOA. I don't want to pay this CDD. Plus, then where am I going to park the van? But they're beautiful homes. They're incredible, and their inventory is sitting, so they're offering great incentives for people to buy. But it's good for you, I guess. So you basically moved, or you already were diversified. So it wasn't like
it doesn't hit as hard.
Yeah, that hard. So how much would you say your business is down right now from the peak? Is it like
surprisingly we were up?
So you're up still. So you didn't suffer at all.
No, this week alone we have 20 shoots this week, and it's January. It's the second week of January. It's like, oh my god, crazy business that's coming our way, and it's January. Florida market, it's crazy, especially with home builders. It doesn't stop. We don't have breaks until we are shooting up to the 31st of December nonstop.
Look at that. So you're basically killing it in terms of, demand. And I'm guessing most of it is because of repeat business, right? Correct. You're trying to keep the agents, the builders, the interior designers on board. So it's much easier, I'm guessing cheaper, right? Have you calculated your customer acquisition costs or no?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Because I guess it's mostly boots on the ground, handshaking.
Right.
Are you doing any kind of ads? Well, I know you are because I've seen some. Now that you say that, I stand corrected in my own question. But yeah, so when did you start doing Instagram ads or any kind of advertising? Have you always been doing it, or is this new? Or
so we started advertising on Google a couple months ago, and we had hits on our website. We were pulling numbers, but no conversions. It's crazy. No conversion at all. We get non-qualified leads. It's crazy. And Google has been so weird that at 3 a.m. on a random Saturday, it just peaks. 30,000 views on the website, and then Monday 3 views. And it's like, oh my god, I'm paying $3,000 a month for exposure here, right? And
I've had bad luck with Google ads too. They've been like, I've not had any luck getting anything, like you said, qualified leads out of that. Right. But then you tried what? Instagram? Are you doing anything besides Instagram or right now or no?
Instagram.
So Instagram is where you are at.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It's been incredible. We have pulled in an incredible amount of numbers that already have paid off for the entire worth of our ad spend through the year.
That's
right.
crazy.
So, and we're pulling between $50 and $100 a post, each reel that we have that we know it's going to be targeted to a specific audience, let's say builders or real estate agents or architectural photography or something like that, right?
Plus, you can be hyper local, right? Because you're trying to target which I know we'll talk about your expansion into other markets, but you're currently marketing Florida or Central Florida? What's your main market?
Central Florida.
Central Florida. So it makes it easy because you can hyper local builders in Central Florida, put $100, you'd say roughly in a post, something like that.
That's it.
And then what type of numbers are you pulling in roughly?
We are getting, we just had 60 leads from one video.
$100 for 60 leads.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Incredible numbers. Wow. Yeah. And we have gotten...
Do you have any conversion rates yet or not yet?
Not yet. I'm still... It's so new that we haven't still... We got some bookings over there. We got some pretty amazing qualified clients.
Look at that.
Very good qualified clients that booked that you weren't thinking, oh my God, this client... I thought this client might just book one shoot. Yeah. No, she ended up booking 5 shoots through the entire month.
What's your lowest thing? I'm guessing it's like some kind of photography package, right? What's roughly average there? The lowest of the totem pole now, I'm saying.
Lowest, it's photos only, and it starts at $175.
Okay, so just to, I'm just saying $100 at your highest spend, 175 times. I'm saying if they were at even the lowest level, 175 times 5 with just that one client, you're already like, at least 10xing your if not more, your ROI. So it's like totally worth it.
It's crazy. And the crazy part is she went and booked for our anchored package, which has a retail price of $1,200.
So look at that. So it was obviously way more than the bare minimum. But I'm saying even at the bare minimum, it would have been worth it.
Right.
But obviously, most people aren't gonna pick.
Right. And I met the client. I drove to Ocala to make her, and she's like, "Oh, you are the guy from the video. I didn't know you were shooting my house. Thank you." And that connection, I think, just made a lifetime client.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah. Perfect.
Plus, now you're the guy they saw, and you are the guy who's showing up. Right. Just like I don't want to compare us to attorneys, but the lot of the injury ones, they purposefully put their face on there because it matches who they're gonna meet. Until they pass you off, right? They're like, "Hey, new client, sign the paper. All right, see you. Here's your actual attorney." Yeah, it's a strange process, but that's incredible that it's working for you.
Yeah,
and that's more expansion, more leads, right? You said more revenue.
Yeah. And one tip, real quick before we change. If you are pulling ads through Meta or Instagram, do it through desktop, not do it through the app on the phone. It will save you 30%, right? It's crazy. Yeah. 30%.
Just by starting the
no, just by throwing the ad on the desktop instead of the app. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
you did. I never thought of that, and until I saw it, I'm like, oh,
because there's probably higher demand for mobile, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good tip. Thank you, John. Look at that. We're already learning. I may play with them. I've even had Ben on the podcast, and he's such great things to say that I may actually test my waters with it. Like I said, I tried a bunch of this stuff, but it was 6 years ago. And then, like I said, when business skyrocketed, I stopped that behind. I was like, I don't need to worry about it. But now I'm like, hey, I'm ready to expand. I'm trying to make it bigger than me. It'd be so cool to experiment. But here's the interesting aspect of it. I'm the behind the scenes guy. You have to put your face on it. You have to go in front of the camera
100%.
And make these ads. What made you pick it to be you versus your partner? And then how is it being in front of camera?
I haven't talked to Brian about why he doesn't like to being on camera. I feel like, I don't know. It's something that I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And he's not camera shy, but I think he doesn't like to, just, do that kind of stuff, I feel like I have developed this personality of, being on camera. I love being on camera and, talk to people. I've developed talking to people and just being out of my shell a little bit more through the years to really just speak with that person in front of the camera that's viewing that video. I just want to connect with you, right? So I don't know. That's a good question.
Some people do that where they create a persona. Have you done that?
Yeah.
Like this is who I'm talking to. Their name is Shane. They have five properties they need to get photo. Have you done that or no?
Not really. No.
You're just saying like I'm talking to whoever my client is. Yeah. Okay. But you're doing that one-on-one conversation.
Right. And I feel like if I'm the one speaking, doing the face of the company, not that Brian does, and Brian does way more than me on that aspect, but on social media per se, right? If I'm showing myself on social media and then meet that client about what happened, I feel like I'm making a greater connection rather than showing. We can hire someone else. We can hire a spokesperson for JRP or Big Wave to do that, right?
Yeah.
But in our mentality, it's like, okay, what type of client do you want to attract, right? And for us, having that direct connection with the client and having them as a friend and a partner, it's way more important rather than just scaling and building a bigger brand and all that, right?
Then what made you gonna go to Texas?
Well, we have one of our clients that served HQs in Texas, right, in San Antonio, and for years we have been, thinking of expanding to Texas, right? The Texas market, real estate market's fantastic. It's huge. It's very similar to Florida. And that client...
And it's growing rapidly.
Very rapidly. So we have two clients. We have our main builder client and our staging partner down in San Antonio. And they were like, hey guys, we're not doing this kind of service that we're doing, providing photos with the staging on our HQ, on our city. Why don't you guys, in 2 weeks, they gave us 2 freaking weeks to move everything.
Wow.
Right?
So you had to find new contractors, everything.
Right.
And plus what they want is virtually stage photos, right?
No.
Oh.
Actual stage photos.
Actual stage photos. Because that's the thing, right? Virtual staging.
Right.
I don't like it, but that's the thing. You offer that?
Virtual staging can be a great asset to, someone that needs to sell something fast. Staging matters so much.
Because then they can see that when they actually come in too.
Right.
Instead of virtual, it's just in the photos, right? Yeah.
Right. So, that staging client really, we have been working for them for 6 years. We have been building a relationship so deeply that, they don't look elsewhere. And that's what we want, right?
That's so incredible.
In Texas, we're like, well, we have plans in the future to expand into Texas, right? And this is such a great opportunity to do it. So I think it was June or July last year that we made that leap, and now we have 3 contractors, and we have one in San Antonio, one in Austin, 2 in Austin, and then 1 in Dallas.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you're doing incredible. You're expanding. Do you need to, since this is such an automated process, do you need to travel or no? You can just, no. So you don't even need to actually go to Texas to make this happen.
Right.
Look at you.
Yeah. So we traveled to Texas to set up.
Initially
to train our contractors, meet them, have dinner and lunch, and just see where they're looking. Right.
Exactly. How did you find them? Did you go to the groups or? Indeed. Oh, look. Look at you. Oh, my goodness. You've basically used everything. You're like, I have Upwork, I have Indeed, I have everything. That's incredible.
The tools are there for you.
Yeah. I mean, use them. So, seems like you're doing really good.
Thank you.
Then why the expansion into, or when that happened to the commercial and the other side of it? Because you have that other company, right? You mentioned. When did that came about and why that addition to real estate?
So Meet Big Wave or Big Wave Production. Meet Big Wave is our IG. Big Wave Productions came to be because Brian had Brian Adams for the graphics, and then I had John Ruz for productions. So by the time that we were working together, I was working for him for his clients. He was working for me for my clients, and we're like, you know what? Let's just do one entity. And we both love the ocean. We both love the waves and the water and all that. So we were like, let's do Big Wave, right?
Okay.
And Big Wave came to be, and
What year was this? Same time or?
it was 2019.
Okay,
No, sorry, 2021.
2021.
Yeah,
That's
after
when
COVID.
so you're doing real estate, obviously, but
Right.
now you combine these two entities to become one.
Right.
And what type of work are you targeting in the corporate and commercial world?
So we're doing mostly corporate shoots, interview style. We're
So
doing
interview B-roll, the typical.
interview bureau.
Yeah.
We're doing mostly seminars,
Mm-hmm.
conferences. We have a manufacturer facility device provider in Sarasota that builds wheelchairs and lifts and elevators for people with disabilities. So we do around 5 shoots a year for them. Amazing. We have one upcoming in Connecticut in
Look at
March. One of our largest one that we have built with them. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. And then let's first find out, like, how do you find these clients for that? Because, obviously your real estate, much
Right.
easier, automated. These clients, before that, what's your average rate that you're trying to target for these type of projects? Because it's going to be much higher, right? Per project that you're going to charge for this. So what range are you trying to hit?
We are doing 10,000 plus.
Yeah, exactly. So much higher. So much harder to find than a simple Instagram ad.
Right.
So how are you finding these clients typically?
They are past clients from Brian, BAPG, right?
Okay.
They have been Brian. As I said, Brian has been such a great partner that he pulled in his past clients, and it's like, okay, let's rail them into Big Wave and introduce them to the company, to the new company. It's like, it's not Brian.
So he already had clients
bulk.
that he brought in. Okay. So do you find any new clients, or is there any process of finding new clients?
We have found new clients through agencies. We work a lot with agencies and mainly Google, right? Either Google or referrals. A lot comes from referrals from both businesses, from the JRP and the Meet Big Wave Productions come from referrals.
Okay. That's awesome. So essentially, you leaned into your past clients you have now, and I'm sure one of these real estate agents probably, or the builders go, we need a commercial, we need something, and then you can be like, oh, we have that service where we can. So you said about 10K above is what you're targeting. Talk about this new upcoming production. What's the rough budget for it? And what's the deliverables look like?
So we are delivering 90 videos.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks of production. So 14 days of shoot? Or no?
We're doing 10 days of complete shooting.
So 10 days of shooting, a whole load of deliverables.
A whole lot.
What's the price range? Or roughly the whole production cost?
We build them 160,000.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
That's actually pretty good for that amount of deliverables.
Yeah.
What type of videos are this? A lot of videos.
Lifestyle videos.
Lifestyle videos. So what are they, like what industry are they in? Like some kind of product or something?
Correct.
Okay. So it's a product, a lot of product shoots. It's in their HQ or wherever you're filming, or you're getting a studio?
We are doing on location.
On location. And then what role in these productions do you and him play? So are you like is he the DP? Are you directing? Like, how are you dividing your tasks?
It's great because with this client we have built such a good relationship that we, of course, we have to pull the team, right, the crew to pull this off because it's a big shoot. But Brian and I'm the DP. Brian is the director, producer, and lifestyle photographer.
Okay,
right?
awesome.
We might have other crew members that assist with wardrobe, talent, producing, managing, railing people,
So what's the
like
crew
that.
size going to be roughly?
We're thinking of doing 5.
5? Okay. Just so people hear this, let's summarize what you just said. So 5-person crew, 10 days shoot.
Not including the client though.
Yeah, of course. So 5-person crew, 10-day shoot, $160,000 with 90 deliverables.
Right.
And how long are these deliverables?
30 seconds long.
30-second deliverables.
Yeah.
Okay. Let that sink in. I'm going to repeat myself because to me this is what people need to hear. Right. Again, 5-person crew, 10 days of production, $160,000, 90 30-second deliverables.
Right.
dude,
That's it.
go sell that now. I mean, that's what it is about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then now, what type of profit margin? Because it's typically not as high when you're doing such big productions. However, seems like you have a small crew. So you should be able to pull pretty good profit. What profit margin are you aiming for? Again, it's not been done yet. So
yeah. I'm not sure. Brian is the total producer for this one, so I'm not sure 100% sure what the project.
But roughly in these type of projects, what do you aim for?
He aims high. He aims to high profit.
So you would
that's
say
why we
same
keep our
thing,
costs low.
Yeah, so 50 to 70, you would say, or
probably,
which is incredible to pull that kind of profit.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to his relationship, right? Is why the client's trusting you.
100%.
So it's going to be with models and stuff, right? There's no actual company interviews in there, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Nope.
so it's just
models.
Yeah, just models. You're going to do it with them.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
And this is obviously, I'm guessing, years of building relationship, right?
4 years with this client.
So that's incredible.
Yeah.
What would you tell people? Because a lot of people want, obviously, now that the people hear this, because people have asked me, it's like, oh, how do you get that? I'm like, relationship. I want to say something more than that. So I would love to hear people hear this. Obviously, that's like a dream gig for somebody.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, even with editing, you're what, 2-3 weeks into the whole thing, right? That's basically it.
That's it.
And you can make 160. Let's assume after all costs, you pull in 100K, and I'm going low. Sounds like because you guys are pulling way more profit than a typical production. Because most agencies would come in and charge a 40% production fee, so their profit would be 40%, and you can most likely pull 60-70% here.
Right.
So you can make 120K in 10 days. Maybe let's add, because you do spend time pre-production, post-production. So 3 weeks you can make. That's a huge profit. Most people that are listening to this are trying to make that in a year. What would you suggest to them realistically? Because let's be real, it doesn't happen in a day. No. It's years of building a relationship with client and trust. How would you say they start or try to get gigs like this?
I will say it's not luck, it's grind. You have to grind as much as possible to find this true client, because one yes can change everything, right? Yeah. So I feel like searching for that type of client, if you search for it, you will never find it if it comes to you naturally, right? So you just have to grind and just level up and change that mentality, because people think that we cannot make a living doing this stuff, and we can. Oh my God.
We can make killer living.
We can make a killer living.
2 people sitting right here, and all the other people have been here.
Right.
Everyone's making a killer. Doing this, so it's definitely doable. I think you just have to think from a business mindset, right? And you have to figure out efficiencies and SOPs, and get it, right, because then you're not fighting to make money. You're actually just out there doing what you love to do.
Right. And I feel like when you change that perspective and you show that the clients that you are a business, not a freelancer or someone that, potentially doesn't want to build something bigger or shows that, stuff like that, I feel like that client, when client sees that, I feel like your mentality changes, and eventually you get way more bigger business and better business,
Exactly. And like I said, it's also relationship building and trust building, because that's ultimately what leads them to trust you.
Right.
Being able to tell their brand image and how they want it to be done. Now, how do you price a gig like this? I mean, did you do it, just deliverables divided by per deliverable times the number of, simple math, or did you have other things you're going, how much can I profit? But like, how did you guys build this price, I'm saying?
Right. Brian's method is profit vision. It's like, how much profit can I pull from this shoot? We don't cut corners. We try to just work with the same team, have the same rate. We know what we're expecting to, have expenses from, and just calculate from that.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and then So you said same team. Are you flying your people in, or you are hiring local people there?
We're hiring local if we need to. Brian is the actual brains of the operation.
So
in
he's
that
doing
area.
the producing part of it. So he's gonna handle all that. That's pretty cool. So you just come in. You're like, I'm the DP. Do you get 50% of the profit? That's incredible. Where do I find partnership like that?
No, actually,
no.
No,
I'm not saying you do a lot of work.
Yeah, if he has
inputs,
I will give him to him. But
I don't want to discount what you do. I'm just saying you put it yourself there. I was like, you're DP, you get half the profit.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Let me meet Brian. I was like, John who? No. But that's incredible that you two have built a business. You're partnering. Then that's the second business. That's not even like, one. Like you have two businesses, and you're killing it in both.
Thank you.
And again, I think people can see that it's from that business mindset. It's not once have you said, this is the camera I'm going to use. This is the settings I'm going to use. I'm the DP. I'm going to have 5 people under, that, but that's what the mindset people get when they get the DP. You won't believe how many times I've listened to it. I'm the DP. And I'm like, who cares? Yeah, exactly. Right.
And I was that person 5 years ago.
So what brought about the change? How can people change the mindset?
I think just thinking bigger. You can think bigger, and you can think more of like a business instead of a individual person. I don't mind if you're an individual person. Some people absolutely love one man crew, just a freelancer, and I absolutely love that. I applaud to that. Some days I'm like, I just wish I just have my little camera and that's it, right? That's my creative.
I never wish that. I'm always wishing for bigger because, that's what I'm finding. I'm always like trying to, bring in more. And I have clients all the way because to be real, I don't want to say that. Like I have clients where it's just me doing some interview and B-roll. Here's the footage to, $400,000, $500,000 shoot where I have 50 people on set, right? And everything in between. Wow. So it varies. It's a huge difference. But I'm always trying to reach the higher number. I'm like, I want to bring more people. I want to have better, content, better sets, better everything. But obviously not everyone's budget can scale. Yeah, exactly. So you have to obviously find, or like, they're like, oh no, we just need a couple interviews. We just need one man crew. And it's like, okay, well, the day is available. Let's do it. You know what I mean? But I'm always trying to, be like, I don't want, I want bigger sets, bigger crews. Because I think you make something better when you collaborate.
Yeah.
I know it's not why I brought you here. I want to talk more business, but I want to know, what camera are you planning to use for this shoot? Do you have anything in mind? How do you go about, like, as a DP? Because it sounds also fashion oriented, where camera matters, look matters. How are you gonna pick your camera, or what are you leaning towards? I want to know more gear, just so people can hear what type of gear is used these type of shoots.
To be honest, it's gonna be the Canon R5.
Canon R5. Look at that! Wow,
that's it. We have a red Komodo.
Yeah, but you're not planning to use it.
Nope.
No. Why is the Canon R5 the better product?
Workflow.
Better? Okay. And you're doing photos too, I'm guessing. It's both photos and videos.
Photo and video, so it's going back and forth. Brian is doing the photos, I'm doing the video.
Okay.
But workflow-wise, it works for me, right? And it works for the client, and it works for the looks that the client are wanting. They aren't high tech. They don't want the shiny stuff on set. They don't want that. They don't like that, and they don't care about that. They just want to have the assets available for them to pull in and just distribute. That's it.
Awesome. So you're going to use Canon R5. Are you going to shoot in log or no?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I was about to just walk away from the set if you had said no. But I mean, hey, look, it works. That's why we're having this conversation because, look, at the end of the day, I want people to know, obviously your work is good. I've looked at it, but I want people to know that's not why you have work. You work because you have business sense. And that's just the truth. You want to be on the comments and just say, I can make something better.
Right.
Yes. I already say sure.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just, the client doesn't care. That's the truth. The client cares about the people, the relationships, the trust. And that's just what's more important than your skill. I'm not saying don't be good at your craft. It's very important, but that's not what sells big projects. 100%. It's just the truth. And that's what the point of this is, for people to hear the real truth, not something fake. Let me come in. You know how I hate those courses that have shown up all over. I will help you scale your business. I'm like, look, we'll help you scale it for free with no incentive. Yeah, unless you have a real estate photo. I don't know what else is to sell here.
Right.
Anyway, so I love that. Thanks, like I said, for sharing this. So you're gonna use Canon R5.
Yep.
You're gonna shoot in log. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
I mean, hey, and then and like I said, you're gonna give them deliverables. Client's gonna be happy. How do you send? Because that's a lot of deliverables. How do you get a sign off on it? Do you use Frame.io or Dropbox or what? What? Yeah, what's your process?
Dropbox and Frame.io. And we started implementing Frame.io with this client, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah, because it's for this many deliverables. Yeah, I can't imagine with Dropbox.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, Dropbox is good, but when you start to scale up, it just starts to break on you really fast.
And I'm going to knock on wood, but I'm pretty sure that we are not going to have too many revisions because we already know what the client wants.
Yeah, because you have an existing relationship, so they already know the look, they already know the result.
And we know, they're like, okay, well, you know, this is the tentative deliverables. And we're like, I'm pretty sure that we know what you guys need, you know?
Exactly, at this point. And here's the money question. So let's say you've talked to them, you've presented, do you present like a proposal or do you just say the number on the phone? How do you present the initial number? Let's
Proposal.
So you need a proposal, they can visually see it.
Right.
Are you on the phone with them or you just send it? Because you've already had the conversation.
The conversation.
Yeah, okay.
It's pure conversation through email. They're like, hey, we have this shoot. They call it the massive shoot. So it's going to be the massive shoot on March. It's going to entail this, going to be throughout 9 days, 10 days of shooting. And we need 90 approximate deliverables. Can you put something together?
And in your proposal, do you fully break down or is this a big number?
No,
how do
we
you
fully break down.
So how do you break it down by? Like, what's your process typically?
It's going to be creative fee, photography fee, video editing fee, you know, distributions and all that.
Okay, all perfect. And then once they obviously accept it, how do you split the payment or do you not split it? Like, what's the payment schedule when you get your payments?
50% upfront, 50% at delivery.
Okay,
that's it.
That's simple. And then do you give them obviously 80 grand? So you're gonna give them wire transfer, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
and before delivery, because it's a huge amount.
Right.
They have to do it before you give them deliverables. I'm
After,
guessing
because we have built so good a relationship, but I recommend before the delivery
for most clients. But if you have a
clients.
relationship, you don't care.
Nah.
You're just gonna deliver them, and then they'll pay you whenever they pay you. Do they pay normally on time?
Oh, for sure. This client, yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying. Bigger amounts, the checks come faster. I'm guessing wire transfer though, not a check for this amount. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Pretty standard. So
pretty standard. Yep.
All right, so that's incredible. Now, I want to know is the second biggest project you did, so people can know, you know, what the scale level is. What's the second biggest project you've done for them ever, price-wise, or roughly?
It's been 40 grand.
So exactly. See, you can scale up because
way more
because you know, like they know the shoot is massive,
right?
The deliverables are high. So it doesn't mean you know, if you get a 10, 20, 30K client that can't one day become 100, 150, 200K client because you know you scale with them, right? So what was the rough deliverables on that 40K?
We were delivering 10 videos, 15 videos, I think.
So
pretty standard.
Same thing, same calculation roughly.
And this was local, not traveling.
Oh, so you didn't have to travel. There's no travel cost. So that's pretty good. So people can have some idea. And then for your typical, you know, the typical corporate stuff, which is what most videos end up being, which is like talking head, you know, B-roll.
Right.
Whatever needs to be edited into brand video, testimony, whatever. Do you have like a pricing structure that you aim for there? Like, this is the range we want to be at because that's typical standard, not long production.
From Brian and I have talked. Our day rate start at $1,750, I believe, and it goes up from that. It depends. But Brian, I see it depending on, you know, who is this company, right? Like,
so you're doing value-based pricing,
right?
Depend on the company. If Coca-Cola calls, the rate's higher. If, you know, Joe Schmo calls, it's lower. What do you aim for with edited? Because, you know, that's obviously your day rate. That's how you're calculating day rate, probably editing fee. So what's your average, you would say, total for a small to mid-sized company that you're aiming for after editing, you know?
Nick, who is our editor that's based in Texas, He
So
does
you do have an American US based
correct
editor for this type of
for-
work.
yeah,
Okay.
correct. For Big Wave.
Okay.
His day rate is 1,200, around 1,200. So if we're pulling,
Yeah.
you know, a 40 grand shoot, we might giving him, you know, he might ask 2,000, you know,
Makes
2,500.
sense. Yeah. So for a tip, do you do like, so what's your minimum? Sounds like you add his 1,200, your 1,750. The most bare minimum shoot a client can get is 4K, right?
Right.
Can they get anything lower than that? Anything? No, right?
We
'Cause
don't budge.
It doesn't make sense anyway because your rates are
Yeah.
your rates.
Yeah.
So that's going to be you shooting
Right.
and then him editing, and the company obviously I'm guessing will pull profit from both. 'Cause
Right. Correct.
The companies makes money too. That's incredible. I mean, and
Thank you.
look, that knows people the scale. 4K to 160. Have you done anything bigger than 160, or is this your biggest project?
Biggest project.
So that's the scale. Now, between the two companies, what's your percentage? Like, is JRP like 60, 70% of your business? And this one, like, what's the divide between the two?
It's 60-40.
60-40.
JRP, 40.
So JRP is still
Wave.
the primary moneymaker, but this is getting there almost, seems like.
Big Wave pulls in bigger profits than JRP does.
Oh, that's incredible. So, because, you know, real estate, I guess I should, I don't know why I'm shocked, because that makes sense. Yeah, real estate,
pulls in bigger profits than JRP.
So so what's your game plan? Are you trying to grow both, but do you have a certain focus, and what are you two thinking about the future?
I feel like JRP is going to scale through the nation. We'll be in different markets in the next 5 years. We really want to track with this staging client that has been partnered with us. So I feel like if they expand, we will expand with them. Test the waters, see what works, what doesn't. With JRP, we're tending to expand a lot into different markets. You know, grow the team bigger. And with Big Wave, I think just staying the same. Really, we want bigger clients. You know, this type of shoots that we're doing for this type of client in Connecticut. You know, on March, feel like that type of client. That's what we really strive for. Right?
Exactly. And so that's incredible. So your expansion plan with JRP is very simple, and I think it would work because you've tested the market, you've obviously done it here. So now all you have to do is just go to these other markets and just expand. And just as we know with the real estate market, you know, it's down, that means it's going to go back up. So it won't be that long until, you know, it's like going back up, and then you'll be able to expand even faster.
Yeah.
How do you plan on managing it? Because it seems like once it becomes large enough, do you plan on do you think you'll lose? Because here's my thing. Like me, for 2 years, I've been trying to find someone to, you know, because, you know, I'm a filmmaker first, but I had to learn business because that's how you make money, right? And that's how what your clients care about. So, but I try to be bringing both together, right? But point is, I've been trying for years to find somebody to go do the sales so I can focus on the creative and then the production, being the producer, director, DP. But I haven't been able to because, like I said, nobody's passionate and driven enough where I'm like, I can let them do your thing. Because, you know, the people who are good, they're already doing it, right? And people who are not good at it, I don't think they need to be here. So point is, I haven't been able to find a suitable, I'm saying, replacement. And obviously, and I'm happy to do it up until then. It's not like I'm burnt out or anything. I just want to do more of the production and save time. So on your side now, once this happens, I don't know if you guys have even thought about this yet. How are you going to manage it? Because you're going to have to probably bring regional manager or something. But then how do you keep that? What makes you is the relationships, the quality control, the customer service, and then you have to let go, and then that's when cracks happen. You know, that's when scaling is really hard. So have you two thought about that? How are you going to solve the problem in the next 5 years? Which sounds like a long time. It's not in business terms. So have you thought about that?
That thought hasn't, you know, passed through my head, but, you know, just doing what I'm doing right now seems to be working. And, you know, just keep our guys happy. It's the most important thing. You know, it's the building I strive for building relationships. So that thought of hiring, you know, head managers might come for sure. That's a great idea, and it potentially is going to happen in the next
if
5
you
years.
spend, let's say I don't know, let's guess, right? The bigger markets, you go to Texas, you go to California, you go to New York, right? I don't know how you manage that all by yourself, right?
It will be impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. But then have you thought, and again, it's okay if you haven't, because like I said, it's far away right now. Right. You're only going to your second market. But I'm just saying, when you go 5 markets, 6 markets, right? I don't know how you can be there and you can't, then, how do you manage the same thing, without you being able to do all of it?
I feel like, not that all of our clients are, not that I have preference from client to client, but I feel like VIP clients deserve a little bit extra, right? So if we have a VIP client, let's say on another market, I have to show up, right? So if we do some mistake or something like that, I do have to show up. What happened in Austin, couple weeks after we launch, one of our contractors messed up. I had to show up for the client, and I flew back in, did the shoot for the client, flew back out. So I feel like that type of customer service still need to be there throughout.
No, absolutely. And then that's exactly what I expected you would have done, right? You're like, oh, I'm on a plane, even though it may not be profitable at that point, right? Because you have to get a hotel, for sure. You have to fly, but then that's what you have to do, right? Right. And then you slowly fix it, I guess, right? Okay. Now talk about somebody, and I know I have more topics, man. We got to talk about virtual assistants. Okay. But before we get there, I do want to talk, I want to give people real advice. So you figured out, and I felt like your partner, Brian, sounds like after talking to you, was a key reason that you guys are able to, do it faster, better together. Right. And pandemic was just the reason that happened, right? But talk to somebody who's listening, maybe new, maybe they know. Let's not talk about craft. Let's say they know how to make a good video, because that's the number one thing. How do they, especially on the production side of it, how do they get higher paying clients? How do they find success? How do they grow? Because, when I'm sure you've been there, when you're, not making that much money, you're just worried about life. Right. How do I pay my bills? How do I pay my mortgage? How do I pay my rent or my food or whatever? You can't worry about scaling and, automation and all that, but that is what leads them to there. So how does somebody from here go here, or what would you do? Maybe they can try and copy it. Now, tomorrow, if you lose everything, you have to start from scratch. Here's a brand new company, RPG Productions. I don't know. So what would you do?
I feel like you have to work for free. I feel like first you have to build up a portfolio, build some sort of credibility in the industry. And then we kind of use a method that maybe some people don't use, which is the DM method, Instagram DM method, where I actually record myself, right, and offer something for them, right? Something. It can be a 50% off or an incentive here and there to that client. And that's
how... Do you say their name on it?
Right.
Oh, you custom it? Oh, man. I love that. Okay.
I personalize
that's my favorite way. When I tell people how to promote, it's make it custom, make it for them. Right. Yeah. So you record a video, you send it to them, incredible, through Instagram DMs.
Through Instagram.
And it works.
And it works
because it's just for them. Yeah.
When you do the shoot, then you can build up to, let's say, 5 clients, right? Those 5 clients are now, you build your portfolio, you have a product to sell, right? Something to sell. Yeah. Then you can go to other companies. Hey, this is what I've done for this 5 clients. Let's do that. Let's do something for you. Yeah. And I feel like that it's a snowball effect. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And you have to grind.
That's a proven strategy.
Right.
So if you're doing this through Instagram, and you can do this in person as well, right? Boots on the ground. But essentially the idea is you offer them something. Maybe in the beginning you offer a free shoot, right? And then you slowly maybe offer 50% or whatever. At the end of the day, you build a portfolio. When you have the portfolio, you find their competitors or similar industries, and you go to them and you're like, look, this is what I did for them. This is the rate. Do you want to do it? It's very simple offer, because at that point, you're no longer like, hey, look at my skill or what I can do, right? So you have to kill it obviously on the first few. Now don't keep always doing work for free. This is just so you can build a portfolio, right? And that's fair, because then somebody else is getting a good video, you're learning, you're getting that high-end content. Very smart.
And
good strategy.
That's a strategy in my advice, really. It's just to grind every single day. Like I did. When I didn't thought of the Instagram method that we offer right now, I was doing it. I was pulling it off Zillow. I was going into the, sending message to the agent. I was searching their names, pulling into Google or Facebook, searching for their emails, tapping their emails, and look, hey, XYC, I see that you don't have a video on XYC property. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do something for free? Do you want to, I can do this for you, right?
Look at that. Add value for them, right? That way they're more interested in it than just...
You have to research them, before offering something, right?
Exactly.
Because if you don't know them, you don't know what they need, then they will never buy.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, look, here's the truth. If you keep doing it over and over again, you may fail. You may not, find success. But most businesses fail within first year of business. And then the next is 5 years. If you just make it past 5 years, success is right there. The reason most businesses don't is because most people are not, it's not because they're not good, it's because they just stop trying. Just don't give up. You know what I mean? Keep at it. You'll find success, hopefully sooner than 5 years.
Exactly.
Hopefully not that, but I'm saying that is, the idea is, anyone can find success as long as you're trying to be better. Now don't keep doing the same thing for 5 years. Nothing's going to change. But the idea is to just keep doing at it, keep getting better at it, and offer people value. And then people want it. Why wouldn't they want to help you or hire you or whatever? Because at the end of the day, here's the truth: in the market that you're in, talk about real estate, they need videos, they need photos, they need Matterport. There is no if and buts about it. The question is, are you going to be the person providing it 100%. For them, right? And then are you going to be able to scale it? Because again, sure, you can go find 100 clients at $50. But what's the point if you can't just survive or be sane doing it, Because I knew someone, I was like, dude, what shoot is this? Oh yeah, this is my 10th shoot. Oof. How much are you charging? $50. I'm like, come on. You're telling me you made $500 and I just walked in this meeting and charged this client because I hired someone, they wanted to learn. Same thing. I was like, I'm happy to bring you. And they came for the shoot. Great guy. Awesome guy. And then as soon as most people, we do a big shoot and we hang out. He's like, no, I have another real estate shoot. So I got to talk. He's like, how many? He's like, oh, I did your half day shoot. Plus I have 10 real estate shoots. And I was like, how much are you getting paid? $50. I'm like, you're telling me I paid you, and then also on my side, I'm like, I paid him. I was like, are you telling me I paid you for 5 of your shoots? I obviously paid him fair for the video guy. But what I'm saying is, so for him, that $250 that felt low to me was really high. But then you have to look at the other mindset. The grind is so crazy. And then I'm like, I'm charging this client 10, 20 grand to make this one video. It just feels, so weird. I'm like, holy crap. And he's going to work all day to make 500 from real estate on a normal day.
Crazy.
So that's not sustainable. I'm saying anywhere, especially in Orlando. Good luck living off of that.
Jesus.
Plus, I mean, you have to eat some point. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, you don't want to you want to figure out a way to scale it in a way where it makes sense, but it also, doesn't burn you out. And you can have a life, because at the otherwise, I don't know why you're doing it. There's better ways to make money if you just want to work 12, 14 hours. You might as well go find a different job. But that's incredible. So what about the other side of it? So let's say they don't want to do real estate. They want to do commercial and corporate video. Would you do the same thing? Would your suggestion be just find similar industries, make a video?
Same thing.
And then any other tips or tricks that you have that you can think about? I love that one where it's like, oh, do it on desktop. It's cheaper. I think people can definitely take advantage of that. But what else? Do you have any other tips or tricks you'd say?
Just that mentality of, you can make it, you can just thrive doing what you love. It's nothing. It takes work, but it truly does. It's a feeling that just I don't know how to put it together, but it's something that I cannot explain, right?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to do this for a living, and I wish someone looking at this right now that it's struggling and looking, just go through.
Or even if they're 80K and they're like, how do I get to 800K, or whatever. Like that, it's that mindset change, right?
Talk to your clients.
Yeah.
Like they will help you get there too. Like you can upsell products, you can upsell services, you can upsell everything to your client, right? Talk to them,
And in the corporate and commercial world, I've said this over and over again, your data is hugely valuable because here's what you can do. If they hire you and they say, make me a testimonial video, you go get B-roll, you get interviews, sure, you sell them for whatever, 3K, let's say.
Right.
But now you own all that extra footage. Why can't you put together that B-roll and make them a quick, I don't know, teaser, social or something video? And now you can go back, hey, do you want this? It's going to be X or whatever price. You can keep using that content. And as you work with them more, you have bigger and bigger library. Use the content to make more money.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Do you want to chat about virtual assistants now?
So this is the main thing I learned from you in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm doing something similar. So I did get an assistant, but mine's US based.
Okay.
However, I feel like I'm spending too much money. I hope she's not listening to this. But you know what I mean? I feel like you're doing it the smarter way. Getting somebody from Vietnam, I'm guessing again. Is that your favorite country or what? So,
they are great, hardworking people.
That's awesome. Because, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Like we've talked about, you only have so many hours in the day. You need to do high level tasks.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff we do is just silly email stuff. As you saw, literally walking, I'm like, I need to respond to this email. So I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Right.
Point is, if somebody can come in, take that time off, fix your calendar, get some meetings done, meetings scheduled, basic responses to email, it can be a game changer.
Right.
And
100%.
you found the formula. Which is virtual assistants, which I think is perfect because it's not that expensive and a lot of businesses can afford it. So tell more about how did you think of that? How did you go about finding a good assistant? And, again, how it's been able to help you?
Yeah. So we hired our first virtual assistant back in 2023. And it really changed the game on replying to text messages, replying to emails, just daunting tasks here and there. And Jean makes such a great job on, providing customer service to our clients and all that. So she went in and changed the game for us,
Where did you find her?
Brian found her. And he brought her into both businesses pretty much.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure he found her through Upwork.
Perfect. Best platform. A lot of people have mentioned
Oh my God.
to go find, remote employees or whatever.
Right.
So once you found her, and then how did you integrate her into the business? Because I know you were mentioning that before, was able to do a lot of things. What are the things that a virtual assistant can do?
So daunting tasks, everyday tasks, replying to simple emails, texts, managing social media accounts, pretty much she can manage my business pretty much. She knows the back end of everything. She can book shoots for a client. If the client wants to book a shoot right there, right? If we get a text message or an email, she can reply back, right?
That's incredible. So anything that you do, think of this, and that's a lot.
Right.
You do on social media, text or email, they can accomplish, which is like 80% of our manual labor tasks, right, that we have to do outside of obviously a shoot. So that's incredible. And they're not that expensive, right? So what could somebody realistically, let's say they like the idea, because I like the idea. I think this is one of the best things I ever heard from you. I was like, oh, this sounds like a game changer. So I want to get a virtual assistant. What could I roughly get one for to do the type of task, that could help?
You'll be surprised. You can find someone for $3 an hour. We pay Jean $5 an hour.
And roughly how many hours do you think you use?
She works full time.
Full time. So that's what, 8 hours roughly you'd say in a day? Because obviously some days I'm sure it varies. So that's what, 5 times, I don't know. I'm doing math over here. I don't know, a couple thousand a month, you'd say? Yeah. I mean, that's not bad.
Nope.
Considering that's a full-time employee
Right.
doing anything and everything with email
Correct.
thing. And like you said, you could find somebody cheaper. That's obviously sounds like a good assistant. You could find them for what, $2-3 an hour probably, right?
And they will do a great job. Like, for example, our QC Michelle, right? We have a set $250 a week for her. Eduardo, it's $50 a week, right?
Look at that.
So
finding somebody for $50 a week.
And they are extremely happy, right?
Yeah, because that's like,
"Oh
a
my
lot
God,
of money when you translate it
right.
to the currency over there in Vietnam. Do they? Does the time difference play into it, or they're just used to working American hours?
They are not trained, but when we hire them, we ask them if they can work U.S. time based, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm up that time, so I can work."
That's perfect. Yeah, because it won't. I don't think it's that vast there. It's not like
Right.
Yeah. So that's incredible. And then they're willing to work. They love the pay because you know in their country that's a lot of pay.
Correct.
Versus for us to think about somebody for $50 to $250 a week.
Correct.
Is just it's not like I said. I feel ashamed when I'm bringing a PA for $250. I'm like, can you please be a PA for $250? And I'm like, I'm begging them. I was like, what? And here you're like, no, work the whole week for me. But that could be a game changer,
Right.
like I said, because like I said, most of the time I'm just tired of emails. How do you do text messages? Do you have to have some kind of platform? Because I like iMessage. That's been my key.
Okay.
I did try to do. So here's
Okay.
my experience. For a few years, I'd used an app. So, the business phone was an app.
Right.
You could access from computer everywhere. But then I found that people love the iMessage, question mark, all the response things that you can do on iMessage. So I moved it back. So it's on my phone direct. That is my number. I don't even have my personal number anymore. It's just how it is. So yeah, I was like, well, if everyone just calls me here and all I talk about is video, all my friends are video people.
Oh
so
my God. It's
what is business versus personal, right? I was like 2-3 people who use my personal number. Here's my business number. Just call it on that. So that's what ended up with me. I started the proper way with the a virtual phone thing.
Yep.
It became my now real phone. Plus now I can do all the iMessage thing. That's what I was lacking. Why I was like, I need to do this.
Makes sense.
But the disadvantage would that be I can't just give my now text messages to someone remotely, right? So you probably am using, I'm guessing, an app-based system.
So we tried Google Voice.
Google Voice, yeah, that's exactly what I was using.
Google Voice for a couple years actually, and it worked great. But the calling feature was so bad, right? We had lags, or we will cut off, or if we're sending a text message repeatedly to people, they will block us because if we're sending appointment reminders 30 a day, if it's the exact same thing, the exact same template, they will block you from scamming, right? We switched back to open phone, and our platform isn't attached. It has like a burner phone, so it's isn't attached to open phone. So it's great. Tonemo is great on sending for text reminders through a burner phone.
That is, they stop or block. It's not you anyway. Yeah,
right. So
that's actually very smart because you don't want to take your business number and have your clients block you.
Oh my God, it was painful.
Yeah. So that is but the negative of that is, and again, maybe you don't have that issue because, like I said, I have clients who have to do the iMessage, the group chats, all that. You definitely can't do that with that, right? So,
you can't.
So this only works. So maybe it's good to have two numbers. So it's good to have a number. Obviously, that is through a virtual system.
Correct.
And which one did you say you use now?
Open phone.
Open phone. Okay, I've heard of that. Is it a good system?
It is very.
How
good
expensive
system.
is it? It's not that expensive.
I believe $15 a month.
That's not bad. I mean, you can't even get a regular phone for that.
And Gene is in, Brian and myself are in, and that's it. We both three are top 10. And what I absolutely love about Open Phone is that if a client sends a message, you can actually have a conversation with your virtual assistant and internal team off of that message. Like, how can I reply to this? Or should we reply this, or
should we say whatever? Exactly. So you can have A/B testing between the team. It's like, hey, is this better or this better? That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Or you can just at Gene, like just reply to the text.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So she can respond or whatever.
And it's not pretty amazing. It's very good. And we have two lines. We have the Florida and Texas line in there.
And then for emails, I'm guessing it's just appointments, basic delivery questions.
Correct.
Anything that we're not thinking of. Because I want people to expand. Because, most people go, I don't need an assistant. I want people to know what all. So anything else you can think of out of the ordinary of what we're talking here that people can use an assistant for, they can do that we're not talking about?
Following up on the DM message with your virtual assistant. So whenever I send a video message, I have a Google Sheet that I created with Eduardo, and we both are in there. And I just literally mark whomever I'm DMing, and he knows, okay, this person needs to be follow up. And he actually managed the conversation and quote unquote sales.
Look at that. So you can automate your responses.
I just send one and that's it.
$50 a week. Worth it. Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then, because even one shoot, it's paid for. And that's a cheap photo shoot. It's not even like an expensive shoot.
And Eduardo does the photo selection too.
Oh,
overnight. So we killed two birds in one stone.
So for $50 a week, he works 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? Is that the schedule? Or is it more?
He works 4 hours a day.
That's I mean, still not bad.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours for Instagram, 2 hours for photo selection.
So 4 hours, 5 times a week. I'm guessing 5 days a week.
Correct.
Okay, that's again, that's still pretty good. I mean, the question now I have is: are these their real names? Are they actually called Gene and Eduardo? Or these are made up names?
I don't know.
Oh, so that's what they told you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've never been like, because if you've been to ever Vietnam, do you eat Vietnamese food or no?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. It'd be funny. You're like, I have all these Vietnamese people
But
and never even had.
Yeah,
I mean, which is fine. I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But so anyway, but I'm saying when you go to these restaurants, the names are I can't say them.
Right.
So I'm just like,
Tran and
Yeah,
Nuken
they
or
exist, yeah.
Nuken or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. So they probably have, I'm guessing, real names. So
Correct.
they came with their name. You
They're
didn't
American
make them.
names.
You
Right.
didn't give them the names. They already have
Right.
the American
Yeah,
names. Okay.
yeah.
And then, so when you pay them, which, another thing, so for American contractors, we
Right.
do W-2 or W-9 for the contractors.
Right.
And then you have to send them the 1099 or whatever, right?
Correct.
Again, not tax advice. This is just given. How do you handle that? Like, because it's an international
Contractor.
Do you have to still do 1099 or no? Because they don't. They shouldn't have to pay taxes in America,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
It's a special document. We use Gusto as our payroll partner, and Gusto takes everything away from us. It's like we send an invitation link. They just fill out their information, and that's it.
Okay,
that's it.
And then it pays them, and then
Right.
what if they have a legal name? They probably put it with
Correct.
that platform.
On
You
that.
don't even have to worry about it.
Right.
And what does this type of platform cost for somebody who wants to use it?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay, and that's
I don't see those numbers.
I mean, just look it up, right? Gusto, you said
Gusto.
Gusto. I'm guessing.
Correct.
And is that just for your international people, or is it for your local contractors?
Local.
So you're using that for all your payroll,
Everyone.
but mostly contractors. You don't have to
Correct.
pay out the taxes and stuff, right? Because that's
Right.
on
That's
them because
on
they're
them.
contractors.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. So they're
Yeah.
able to even use do international.
Yeah. All of our contractors send us their invoices, and we just
Enter
put
that into the
That's it.
platform, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to worry about taxing. I'm guessing
Correct.
the platform just takes care of it.
Yep.
That is incredible because that's what my question was. I don't have obviously. I wouldn't know how would you even handle Vietnam, taxes or anything,
Right.
And again, it doesn't have to be that country. That's just who you're using. Like you said, I have people in India, so you can have people, all over. Yeah. So it's just finding the right people
All
for
over.
you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, especially the tasks that don't really need somebody to be local, I think that's incredible. Like I said, I got a virtual assistant, but she's from US based, and I'm thinking about adding a couple more virtual ones because I feel like the costs are, when you're doing it in American dollars, it's a little. But my initial idea was, here's like I said, where I screwed up. Again, Tiffany's great. No offense, but I was like, oh, you can then take calls, and I didn't want to have somebody with an accent or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, even though the owner has a slight accent, but we'll just keep it at that. But then I realized quickly because of my fiasco with
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, they can't even call and answer the phone anyway. So the whole thing didn't really go to plan. So I was like, oh, that's good. Okay, you can just handle emails and stuff. But then I'm like, an international assistant works so much better for that.
Yeah.
And they can automate so much and save so much time. And now all that time I could go do other
Oh my
things.
God, do
right?
other
Yeah,
things.
exactly. Or be
Mhm.
on more shoots or
Correct.
whatever. Plus, then I don't have to miss it because so many times what happens with my calendar is I'll manually like later today, literally after this, I'm supposed to meet a buddy to discuss some future growth
Right.
stuff, and I'm like, I almost forgot to add in the calendar, and then Jill was like, oh, after the podcast, what do you have to do? And I was like, nothing, and then I was like.
You're like,
No, I gotta
"Ooh."
have a meeting. So like that. Sometimes you miss things because
Right.
it's me
Correct.
scheduling because it wasn't through an automated system. This is me texting or calling
Correct.
and going, oh, I need to add it.
You
And
tend to
usually,
forget.
yeah, usually I'll go in the calendar and add it, but sometimes you forget. You're human,
Right.
but that could throw up everything. I hate double bookings because I never want to cancel with someone,
Right.
because I double booked or whatever, because that makes you look unprofessional.
Right.
So
That happens to
yeah.
us all the time
And
before we
yeah.
had that platform.
And that's so good that you do have the platform now because, like you said, that's like the
Yeah.
easiest way to look unprofessional without being unprofessional because you
Right.
didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
You're
just
like,
happens.
oh no.
So that's incredible that you figured this whole formula out, and I feel like so many people could take advantage of that. And think of this way: you don't have to be this successful
Right.
to do it.
Right.
Even if you're making 80, 100 grand a year, think of this way: if you can just take away somebody like Eduardo half a day,
Right.
5 days a week, $50 a week, I know you can afford it.
Yeah.
You spend more than that on coffee. I know, and again, I don't want to go into that stupid argument because some people also take it too far. Like, don't drink coffee, but I know filmmakers drink coffee.
Yeah.
And they will happily pay $10 at Starbucks for
Correct.
it. So I'm just saying, and this could save so much more times for us to have more meetings, more outreach, more whatever.
It's a hack.
And you double,
crazy.
triple your revenue because
Right.
now you have double, triple the time.
Yep.
For me,
Right.
like here's what I'm bad at, and I'm already seeing the use of it. I go on sets. I'll usually, even despite my being crazy busy being director, I will still take some photos or something, right? Or people will send me if I'm doing a remote producer thing,
Right.
and I have some photos, and I'll always ask, hey, send me some photos, but then I never get to posting it because I'm so busy,
Right.
and then I move from project to project to project to project, and it's like, then you look at your social media, like I didn't post anything. And then it'd be so cool to just be able to go to someone like, here you go.
Hey, there we go.
Just make posts. It
Yep.
doesn't, because it's not like I'm trying to make revenue from it. I just want to be able to share what we're
Right.
up to.
Mhm.
And it'd be so cool to have somebody, like you said, virtual. And it's a lot easier. I don't feel
my
at
God.
all weird about sharing my business Instagram with someone.
And
'cause-
Meta has now the photo scheduler for Instagram.
Yeah, so they can
internally.
even do
So it's
that, yeah.
free.
Does
Yeah.
it schedule video or no?
Yeah,
Oh,
reels, video, everything.
See, that's what I'm saying. That'd
Yeah.
be so cool. They can, and that's the platform.
Right.
So I like, which I know Facebook is old, but still it's good for CEOs and stuff that
Correct.
I deal with. But
Mhm.
Facebook, Instagram can be done through Meta,
Right.
and then I think it's just LinkedIn.
Right.
So it shouldn't be that hard. And I know they have a managing tool.
Correct.
So if somebody was doing that, they could just go in one day. That's their task schedule for the whole week.
Yeah. Gene might have already the entire year booked out with social media posts.
Dude, this is a hack. This is genuinely a hack, people. If you learn anything today, it's just hire virtual assistants, because I'm telling you,
It's a
like I said,
game
we've talked
changer.
about this before.
Yeah.
And even just listening to you a little bit, I was like, my wheels were turning, and I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
If somebody could just do these basic things for me, like I said, ideally I'd like somebody to take the phone over to.
Right.
And I don't know how to do that without having multiple numbers.
Right.
But once I figure that out, that's, like I said, my big task. It would like,
Change everything.
yeah, because
Yeah.
so much time I'm spending on all this stuff that it's like hurting my business.
Correct.
Not that I'm hurting for revenue, but I could definitely be doing better or spending more time with family or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, the worst thing that we can do is leave a client hanging.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, she texted us at 9 a.m. and we haven't responded at 3 p.m. It's like,
I have to tell this story. This is the worst thing I've done, and I'll say it publicly. So here's what happened, and this is a recent one. So I partner with the chambers, right? So as being of Indian origin, Indian American Chamber of Commerce locally here is one of my partners.
Okay.
So we do their annual gala, and I did this last September, I would say. So I did their annual gala, like always, and. I just do it to be partners because we are technically sponsoring majority of the cost. They
Makes
pay us
sense.
some, but at the end of the day, I'm saying I'm not doing that to make money, right?
Right.
So we just want the business is there to see our
Exposure,
content,
yeah.
and help the chamber
Correct.
in turn. So anyway, so I make the videos, and like they do, one of their board members introduce me to somebody for marketing or whatever at Orlando Health.
Oh, wow.
So which is a very good contact
Right.
locally.
Right.
So they're like, hey, this person said hi, and it's like, oh yeah, we'd love to talk, because my whole thing is once I show up on set, they're not going anywhere, but you have to first time show on set,
Right.
because they don't know what I can do until I show up on set. That's just the truth.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you're just another video person in their mind until you, like you said, we build that relationship. So anyway, so he introduced me, warm lead, because that's one of their surgeons. Point is, it's a very good lead.
Right.
Plus, I'm having direct, so I shake hands. He even forwards me their number, and he never says, so I know it's legit, because he's like, hey, this is someone important.
Right.
Catch up. So as a business owner, I'm saying at least I should just connect, say hi, follow up. And guess what happens? Because I'm so busy, I just go from that shoot to flight to another shoot to something.
And it gets
Point
lost.
is, yeah, and it's like, and then he reaches out a few weeks later. He's like, hey, have you reached out? And I was like, oh, oops, sorry.
Oops.
And now I'm like, then my brain goes, this may be too late. And now 4 months, 6 months later, I go, crap, I should have reached out.
Yeah.
And now it's too late. Now it'd be awkward. It's like, who are you again? Right? So I never reached out. So I'm saying that was a good lead.
Right.
That was wasted because, I'm
You were
busy.
so busy.
And, anyway. And that could have been so easy because it was in my text, right? Because the somebody could have followed up. And all we had to say was, nice meeting you, let's chat or something
Happens.
like it. Wasn't, point is, a huge lead lost because of my being busy. Who thought you'd be losing business because you
You're
have
busy.
business? Anyway, it's crazy. And these are the type of leads that matter, because at the end of the day, like I'm trying to find, or like I have a few and I'm trying to find more of these clients that just being repeat business, right? We keep doing bigger and better productions for them. They're happy, they make money, we make money. At the end of the day, we're not chasing clients all day, every day, right? That's what we want. Like you have the one you're talking about in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And it could have been one of them. Who knows? We'll never find out. And now it's too late. Maybe next gala, but I don't know if you can reintroduce. I don't know. But in 1 year later, that would be weird. But at the end of the day, I take it as full responsibility as an owner, because again, it's my company.
Right.
But I can't keep doing that. If I kept doing that, I'm gonna for sure, go out of business. Right. The meeting new people, building the relationships is very important. And I think, as we talked about, virtual assistants is, I think, the perfect example of what you can do to get there. Right. Anyway, like I said, you have so many amazing hacks that you figured out. You're so young. How old are you?
28.
Dude, at 28, you have figured out formula for success in 2 different avenues of video. You have figured out automation. You have figured out, revenue and how to expand, how to scale. What do you attribute to? You're definitely, like I said, not normal. So what makes you different, you would say, than, other people around you?
The people I surround myself to. It's just that just finding true valuable assets. The people that it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. Right. So I feel like the people that surrounds you and the information, I'm a good listener. When it's time for me to listen, I listen and just and analyze everything. And, that's what makes me pretty much. Yeah.
And like I say, you're killing it. So
Thank
before we wrap up, like I said, I could talk to you for so long.
So long.
And like I said, you're requested. People want to listen to this. So I'm hoping, this gets not that I care, but I mean, I do want more people to get value. A lot of people listen and get value out of this. I want to know, before we go, any other hacks immediately that you can think of, or just ideas to share with people that they could implement, just to help them either be efficient or find more business or something else. Can you think of something on top of your head?
Don't overcomplicate stuff, pretty much. Because you can think automations, virtual assistants, platforms to schedule, CRM, people, and blah, blah, blah. All these stuff might seem like a huge headache, but when you implement all these stuff, I can be surfing while my business is working.
Yes.
Right.
That is so smart. And I want people to know, yes, this does sound daunting. I was talking to a buddy of mine, been on the podcast, but he was like, I have nothing like this. He didn't even have a contract.
Wow.
Doesn't and making over 6 figures.
Wow.
And and the crazy thing is that's okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, look, you figured out what a lot of people haven't. You build good products. You got your craft right. You figured out the business side of it. All this can happen. All you have to do, and I know this is a thing with entrepreneurs, especially new business owners, don't want to spend money. Like, so they want to take everything, but spend money. Go hire the professionals. Because like you said, you can hire somebody to come and automate for you. You cannot hire somebody to automate sales for you.
Correct.
I mean, I'm talking relationship building for you. You have to do relationship. You have to understand how to vet people and hire them at the top level. And if you can't do that, you cannot scale. But guess what?
Correct.
You can hire people to do taxes, accounting, payroll. Like we've talked about, you gave names of the softwares you use. Use QuickBooks. I mean, like I said, there's just so many different ways to simplify these things.
Correct.
And if you don't want to do it yourself, hire somebody
to do
in Vietnam to do it. And they will happily do it. And you go out and do the other stuff. But remember, there's no, tell me if I'm wrong, there's no way to replace the other aspect of it. You have to go out and do the relationship building. There's no way to automate that, right? Am I missing it?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
So yeah, that's the key thing that you need to be good at. The rest can be figured out, right?
I wish we can just clone ourselves and just.
Oh, that'd be great. But then I'm like, wouldn't my clone want to listen to me? Because I wouldn't want to listen to the clone. Right? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Because what makes you a leader is, you go do things.
Right.
There's no way your clone will be a follower. Because your clone will be a leader. And you cannot have too many leaders.
That's true.
Yeah, they're going to be on top of each other. Because I'm like, I don't need me. I need, like what you have. Virtual. I need a Gene and I need an Eduardo.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they can help me so much more. Yes. And at the end of the day, I can then focus on relationship building, better videos, better craft, better, sales. So that's incredible. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
This has been incredible. I learned so much. I hope people listening did too.
Amazing.
And like I said, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much.
Before we go, tell people where they can follow you, your Instagram or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, so Instagram for JRP is Meet JRP. Big Wave is Meet Big Wave. That's it. And then YouTube for both companies, it's the exact same thing.
Do you post a lot on YouTube? What are you posting type of content?
On YouTube, I'm posting for JRP. Big Wave is still a work in progress. For YouTube, I'm posting, walkthrough, like very high-end walkthrough videos of multi-million-dollar homes.
So the good ones, the high-end ones is the ones you share.
And I'm posting a little bit of BTS. I really want to follow David's advice.
Oh, yeah, that's a smart thing. Yeah, become like a micro-influencer essentially. Because then you're already the leader in the space, but people need to know that, right?
Right.
And they can once you do all the vlogging and BTS stuff. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, man.
I'm going to go find it and then see your progress. Like I said, I don't know if I can do that. This is the best I can do. Share free, valuable information, though. It's a very smart move. At the end of the day, you help other people. Plus, you gain an audience.
Right. I love helping people.
Yeah. Like I said, I could talk to you for hours. I love all these little things. Like I said, there's the filmmaker in me.
Yeah.
Who would love to talk about cameras and stuff. But the other side of me just loves the business, like especially the automation, because I love when you build like standard operating procedures, SOPs, where then then things just happen.
Right.
You go to your team member, whoever, you're like, okay, this is what I want you to do.
Right.
And then it gets done.
That's it.
It's like
you're like, oh
wow, right? Like this is like holy moly.
You record it once.
Yeah. And then
it's forever.
Exactly.
You don't have to repeat that again and again and again.
Exactly. And do the same thing, which is what we're doing for clients. Make them courses or videos, right? In business where they do the same thing. Just do it for yourself. And it'll be a game changer.
Game changer.
But, like I said, this has been incredible. We'd love to have you back in season 2. But I'm excited. And good luck to your company. I can't wait to see your expansions.
Good luck to
and
you
hopefully this year we'll try and find a way to collaborate. Like I said, looking forward to it. You see my van, it's ready to go. Let's roll it.
Impressive.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But let's go. Like I said, let's just kill it this year.
Let's go.
And like I said, we'll follow up later in the next season. Thank you.
Woohoo. Thank you.